There is a word you use regularly, a word you have probably used dozens of times in your life. And it comes from a symbol, a specific symbol, one that was so sacred to an entire civilization. They carved it into every wall, every column, every sacred space they ever built. That civilization was more sophisticated than most people realize. They had indoor plumbing, running water, multi-story architecture, art so refined that when archaeologists first found it, they thought it was a forgery. And then they vanished, completely, so completely that for 3,000 years, nobody even knew they had existed. The symbol they left behind is called the Labrys, the double axe, and the word it gave you, the one you have been using your entire life without knowing where it came from, is labyrinth. By the end of this video, you will never say that word the same way again. And you will understand why a lost civilization built their entire world around a shape that was never once used as a weapon. The Minoans, named not by themselves, we don't actually know what they called themselves, but by archaeologist Arthur Evans, who excavated their palace in Crete in 1900. What he found shocked the academic world. Multi-story buildings with indoor plumbing and running water, drainage systems more sophisticated than anything Europe would see again for 2,000 years, and frescoes, paintings on the walls depicting athletes leaping over bulls, women in elaborate ceremonial dress, sea creatures rendered with such biological precision that marine biologists can identify the species. When Evans first published these images, historians questioned their authenticity. They looked too modern, too sophisticated, too refined for something 4,000 years old. They were completely real, and they were the work of a civilization that flourished for over 1,500 years, from approximately 3000 BCE to 1450 BCE, dominating trade across the entire Mediterranean basin from their palace on the island of Crete. And then, somewhere around 1450 BCE, they were gone. A volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, possibly a tsunami, possibly an invasion from mainland Greece, possibly all three arriving in rapid succession. We don't know. We may never know. What we do know is that everywhere they built, in every palace, on every wall carved into stone that has survived 4,000 years, the same symbol appeared. Without exception, without variation, without stopping. The double axe, the Labrys. Here is what makes the Labrys genuinely strange. We have found actual functional axes in Minoan archaeological sites. Tools, weapons, objects designed to do work. But the Labrys is never found among them. The largest Labrys discovered at Knossos was over a meter tall, made of bronze so thin it would shatter on contact with anything solid. Completely, obviously, intentionally unusable as a weapon or a tool. So why was a civilization so obsessed with the image of an axe that was never designed to be used as an axe? Archaeologists have proposed several answers, and none of them are entirely satisfying on their own. Some believe the Labrys represented the butterfly. Look at a butterfly in flight. Its wings spread, form a shape almost identical to a double axe. And butterflies appear throughout Minoan art as symbols of the soul and transformation. Some believe it represented the waxing and waning moon, two blades facing opposite directions, echoing the two phases of the lunar cycle. Life and death, growth and recession. Some believe it was specifically a symbol of feminine divine power. Everything we have recovered from Minoan civilization suggests women held significant religious and possibly political authority. The Labrys appears most frequently in sacred contexts. But there is one interpretation that cuts through all of these: balance. The idea that true power does not come from choosing one side. It comes from holding both at once. Two equal blades facing opposite directions, neither one dominant. That idea, encoded into their most sacred symbol, may be the most important thing the Minoans ever figured out. Now the word labyrinth, the impossible maze, the inescapable prison of Greek mythology, the place where the Minotaur waited at the center. The word does not come from Greek. It comes from the Minoan word for the symbol we have been discussing. Labyrinth literally means the house of the double axe. When mainland Greek civilization eventually absorbed the ruins of what the Minoans had built, they found the great palace at Knossos, multi-story, corridors branching in every direction, a structure unlike anything they had ever seen. And everywhere inside that structure, carved, painted, molded, the double axe. Thousands of them, dominating every surface. The Greeks created a myth to explain what they didn't understand. A maze, a monster at the center, a hero who defeats it. But the labyrinth in the original Minoan context was not a prison. It was a palace, a sacred space, the house of the symbol they had built their entire civilization around. The monster at the center of the Minoan world was never a creature. It was an idea, balanced, precise, pointing in two directions simultaneously. And when the civilization that built their world around that idea disappeared, the Greeks turned it into a monster, turned their palace into a trap, turned their symbol into a word for something terrifying. Here is what a 4,000-year-old double axe has to say to you right now. Most of us spend our lives picking a side, building our identity around one half of something. The strong version or the vulnerable version. The leader or the follower. The creator or the destroyer. We find the opposite uncomfortable. We suppress it. We pretend it isn't part of us. The Minoans apparently understood something different. Their most sacred symbol did not point in one direction. It pointed in both, equally, simultaneously, without apology. Carl Jung spent decades on this exact idea. He called it the integration of opposites. The recognition that wholeness doesn't come from eliminating the parts of yourself that make you uncomfortable. It comes from holding both blades at the same time. And here is something worth sitting with. The civilization that encoded this into their most sacred symbol also built the most sophisticated civilization in their world. The most advanced architecture, the most refined art, the most complex trade network. They didn't get there by being one thing. When that civilization fell, what was lost wasn't just the architecture and the art. It was a way of understanding power that didn't require destroying the other side to feel whole, a way of living that held both blades at once. The Minoans disappeared 3,500 years ago. Their written language remains only partially deciphered. Their religion is reconstructed from fragments. But the Labrys survived, in stone, in bronze, in the etymology of a word you have been using your entire life. The next time you feel lost inside something complicated, something that seems to have no exit, no clear path, no right direction, remember what the labyrinth actually was. Not a prison designed to trap you, a house built around an idea. The idea that the most powerful position is not pointing one direction. It is holding both. If this opens something in the way you see a word you have always known, there are 13 more symbols on this channel that will do the same thing. They are all there when you are ready.